Push a button.
When yours is on red, it's on. Green is off. Okay. You're the third person to tell me that must be some sort of entertainment value. You're coming out of the speaker. It's okay. You're not the first to
I'm just trying to read them really fast.
I still have an attorney.
Yeah, that's traumatizing.
I'd like to call City Council to order. If you'll all please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, I'd like to welcome everybody to this evening's council meeting. Hope you all had a nice holiday and a happy new year. We have a new sound system that's been set up, so hopefully you all can hear better than perhaps you have been able to in the past. And if there are folks in the audience that need some additional help, we have some listening devices available too. So just let us know about that. The first item on tonight's agenda is the consent agenda. It is a group of items to be acted upon with a single motion and vote. It's designed to expedite the handling of limited routine matters by City Council. I will ask if a citizen or a council member desires to have any specific item removed from the consent agenda, and at that time, if you'll let me know, then that item will be removed before council takes its vote. The items on tonight's consent agenda include approval of the work session and regular meeting minutes of December 11th, 2018, approval of the expenditure vouchers of January the 8th, 2019, approval of a renewal liquor store license and tastings permit for West Slope Liquor, approval of a renewal 3.2% beer off-premises retail liquor license for Safeway, approval of a renewal hotel and restaurant liquor license for Lakeside Lanes, and approval of a renewal retail marijuana store license for Livewell. Actually for Green Kiwi that's doing business as Livewell. So is there any item on the consent agenda that anybody would like to see removed?
I don't have anything.
All right. If not, may I have a motion, please?
Honorable Mayor, I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented with the addition of $370,356.42.
Second.
Lucero.
Aye.
Carlson. Aye. Keel.
Aye.
Betts. Aye. Roy.
Aye.
Levy.
Aye.
Teague.
Aye. We have no presentations tonight, so the first opportunity for citizen participation is... What? Well, it doesn't have to be on the list. He wants to talk. Children. It's the first opportunity for citizen participation. If there's anybody in the audience that would like to address council at this time, please step forward stating your name and your address, please.
Hello, City Council members. My name is David Temple.
Okay, and David, before you go any further, you have to speak in one of the mics just because it doesn't pick it up enough to be taped for this. Thanks.
Thank you.
4-minute break.
Thank you.
Hello, City Council members. Thank you for listening to me tonight. Some of you know me, but for a brief minute, I have been helping plant trees in this town for over 40 years. I ran Animas Valley Arborist and have taken care of trees, planted trees, been very involved in the community. For the last 15 years, I'm running a nursery called Trees of Trail Canyon, and in full disclosure, you've been wonderful in buying some of my trees. Those are the trees in the containers up and down Main Street. But I'm here tonight because I'm very concerned that continuing tree removals are happening at an accelerated rate in this town. And it's time that the city goes in a new, better direction with its tree care and its urban forest management. I think I've detailed most of it in the letter, but it finally dawned on me that these trees that were removed over by Slavens are old, mature trees. There was physically nothing wrong with them. They were healthy, not hazardous. And none of us here today will live long enough to see replacements of those size in that location. So decisions are being made without a true understanding of the value of these mature trees and how important they are in our society. So for many years, I've been trying to work with city people to try to make and affect some good changes. And this is now the time, the impetus to try to correct a real gap in how the city's organized its urban forest and its maintenance and care and moving forward. So I'm going to, if there are any questions, I'd be happy to entertain any of them. I'm not going to belabor points, but the city could certainly move forward, and this city council could really have a much bigger legacy that you would want to leave besides removing big trees in this town. So I'm open to continue to work with the city in any capacity. I'm not going to sit here and complain. I want to be part of the solution. So thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate you coming and your input. Is there anyone else that would like to address council? Or chime in on this particular issue? Okay. We have no public hearings. We have no unfinished business, so new business. The first item is land lease with Waste Management of Colorado. Russ isn't here. Who's gonna, John, are you gonna take that, or?
I believe this has been postponed till the next council meeting.
Oh, okay.
As this is gonna be an ordinance and it's not ready yet.
Okay, all right. Well, that's quick. All right, in that case, we'll move on to the 2019 joint chemical bid. Rick.
Honorable Mayor and City Council, good evening. As you know, this is one of our annual bids for our water treatment plant. We combine that with several other communities, such as Town of Dolores, Town of Mancos, excuse me, Montezuma Water Company, as well as our own water plant. By combining the chemicals used in these plants and the quantities delivered semi-weekly, we've allowed all the participants to receive a cost savings. I'd note that each entity is responsible for issuing their own purchase orders and payments over the course of the award. So in other words, the city is just responsible for the chemicals used at our water plant. The bid opening was held on December 28th. We had 11 responses to the proposal, and this is a bid that we award on an individual item basis to take advantage of the best price for that item. I've attached a tabulation sheet for the different chemicals and quantities, and for your review. The City of Cortez portion of this chemical bids, it would amount to $164,379.89 based on the quantities estimated at the water plant.
Council, are there any questions?
No questions.
I have none. Thank you.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion approving the land, make a motion the awarding the 2019 joint chemical bid of the individual highlighted vendors for the total of the City of Cortez for $164,379.89.
A second.
Betts. Aye. Noyes.
Aye.
Lucero.
Aye.
Carlson. Aye. Levy.
Aye.
Keel.
Aye.
Sheet.
Aye. The Welcome Center janitorial bid. Rick?
Good evening again. The current contractor that we had cleaning the Welcome Center notified us late summer that he was not going to be able to renew his contract at the Welcome Center. So we sent out bids for cleaning of the Welcome Center. We received 3 responses to our bid. Redfin Janitorial was a low bidder at $18,175.20. Peyton also called around and checked references for Redfin, and the city staff recommends Redfin as entering into a contract to clean the Welcome Center.
Any questions, Council?
Where's Redfin from?
Redfin's a new company. However, the gentleman that started the company was doing the cleaning for the other contractor.
Okay, that was the reason I was asking, first time I heard of it, so.
Us too.
Yeah.
Well, the letter that he sent with his bid, I thought was, he might not appreciate the word sweet, but I thought it was nice. I mean, he obviously he obviously wants the job. He's indicated he's going to work really hard to do a good job, and I appreciated that. So I'm really pleased that the city is wanting to give him an opportunity to be able to get started. So, council, does anybody have any questions?
No question.
May I have a motion?
Honorable Mayor, I would make a motion to award the Welcome Center janitorial bid to Redfin Janitorial at the bid amount of $18,175.20.
I second that.
Carlson.
Aye.
Levy.
Aye.
Noyes.
Aye.
Keel.
Aye.
Lucero.
Aye.
Betts. Aye. Cheek.
Aye. And Rick again, the HVAC project for the service center.
Yes, Madam Mayor and City Council, this bid is a combination of Service Center IT cooling and the Welcome Center heating, cooling, ventilating system for the Welcome Center. By combining the two projects, we felt like we would save some cost on managing of the contract, bonds, and get a little bit better pricing. Interestingly enough, both projects require to be installed early spring so that we can for the Welcome Center, be ahead of the game as far as the tourism and visitors at the Welcome Center, so as to not impact them, as well as the IT part of it at the Service Center. We need to get the cooling in before the heating season, the hot summer months kick in and we're overloaded. So the 2019 information technology budget provides $40,000 for the replacement of the cooling system at the City Service Center. And I'd note that the Service Center is the main hub for all of the city IT equipment, so it's very important. The current cooling system can't keep up, and we've had some critical stages met as far as temperatures in that room during the summer months. The Colorado Welcome Center has a budget of $75,000 for the replacement of the HVAC system. As mentioned before, these were combined into a single bid process. We broke out Lot A being the Service Center IT cooling, and Lot B is for the Welcome Center system. You might recall M.E.&E Engineering did the design work for both systems, and they administered the bid process. We also have attached to you a revised engineer's estimate that was done on December 20th. Specifications were drawn up, bids received on January 20th. We received 3 responses to our proposal. Of note, one of the vendors is considered a local vendor by our local vendor policy. The low bidder for the project is Comfort Air. For the Service Center cooling, Lot A, $91,937. For Lot B, $47,841, for a grand total $139,778. The total amount budgeted for the 2 projects was $115,000. Lot A IT cooling is $51,937 over budget, and lot item B, the Welcome Center, is $27,159 under budget. During the budget process, Lot A, Service Center, was moved from the city capital to the city IT budget. Updated cost estimates in late November did not make it into the final budget documents. So that's kind of where we sit with the project.
Council questions?
Yeah, Rick, what do you mean by did not make it into the final budget? The difference of 15,000 didn't make it into the final? If we're looking at the difference between being 51.9 over, 27.1 under is around 15,000, that didn't make it in?
Yeah, if you recall, when they moved the IT cooling from the Capitol, they moved over 40,000. Between that period and you guys adopting the city budget for 2019, we had updated engineers' cost estimates, and we shared that information, but it didn't make it into the final document.
Okay.
John, you might want to add something to that, or?
No, that's fine. I just needed a refresher. We're good. Thanks, Rick.
But the money, we have the money to do this. Is that a yes or a no?
We can't change the budget in the first 6 months, so we may be coming back in July for additional appropriation.
But that doesn't mean we're not going to do the job. I mean, we're going to get this done, right?
Well, we pretty much have to. We're going to lose our computer system.
Well, that's kind of what I'm thinking, so it's...
That's why Rick's right. He told me in mid-November, but it was too late to make changes to the budget, so I said, well, we'll put it in, and then we'll make adjustments next year as we get into the budget.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to clarify that we are actually doing this, because it sounded to me like it's not a wish, it's a have to.
Correct.
So, okay.
And will that additional 15,000 come out of the IT budget then, next fiscal year? So the 2019-2020?
Yes, it needs to stay in the same budget.
It'll be in this year's budget, yes.
Okay. All right. Council, are there any other questions?
I have none. Thanks, Rick.
Okay. May I have a motion, please?
I make a motion that we award the Service Center IT Cooling and Welcome Center HVAC project to the low bidder, Comfort Air, for the bid amount of $139,778.
Second.
Levy.
Aye.
Keel.
Aye.
Carlson.
Aye.
Lucero.
Aye.
Betts. Aye. Noyes.
Aye.
Sheik.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rick.
Thanks, Rick.
Keep cool.
Okay, contract for professional services with Moss 27223 LLC for audit assistance. John.
As you're well aware, we are still technically 2 audits behind. In another couple weeks, we would be 3 audits behind. The 2016, our figures are now in the auditor's hands. We're still waiting to hear back from them on what changes they want us to make, or what, how this is going to roll, because he is tied up in other projects right now. So he said it's probably going to be a couple weeks before I can get back to this one. As you're well aware, we have a new finance director starting next week. My concern is that DOLA has shut us off for any grants. I authorized Park and Rec to go ahead and put one in for March. I believe March or April is their meeting. And we have been in touch with DOLA constantly and had their approval to go ahead and put it in. And if we're not going to get these audits done, to withdraw it as early as we can. My feeling is with the new finance director, he's going to have his hands full. Kathy's well aware of the Cassell system and hopefully can knock this out really quickly if this is all she's concentrating on.
Did you check any reference?
Yeah, I have.
She comes highly recommended.
This is, I will say this is, to me, this is not ideal, but for $600,000 or $800,000 sitting out there in DOLA grant, $10,000 to spend to get this all done and get Ben on firm footing going forward, I think is worth the money at this point.
Will she be working on all the past audits that we're not current on, 2016 through 2018?
Yes.
That'll be her focus?
Yes.
And what kind of timeline are we looking at for getting those completed? I know that
16 and 17, they really have to be done quickly.
But you were also saying the guy was kind of backlogged, you might not be able to look at him for a couple of weeks?
That's the problem. It's, you know, he has helped her out through this whole process constantly, but he said, you know, I've got other clients that I'm working on right now since we're in the new year, so this is going to be the back burner until I get these done. But he's also well aware that we have to get this done for DOLA stuff, and we're not worried about 18. We have to have 16, 17 done before they will go forward.
As soon as he'd be able to look at him, how long do you think it would take him?
I'm anticipating not very long. He said he's already done the preliminary work, so it's just getting these corrections in and going forward. So I don't anticipate more than a couple weeks on each of these after he gets them in his hands.
Okay.
Isn't she pretty much finished with 16?
16's in their hands.
That's what I thought. So it's
But
just
she hasn't
really
heard back,
17
so-
and 18?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, any other questions?
I have none. Thank you. John?
May I have a motion, please?
Make a motion authorizing city manager to sign a professional service contract with Kathy Moss, Moss 27223 LLC, for the amount not to exceed $10,000 to complete the 2016 to 2018 financial audits, reports provided, guidance to the new finance director.
I'll second.
Keel.
Aye.
Betts. Aye. Levy.
Aye.
Noyes.
Aye.
Lucero.
Aye.
Carlson.
Aye.
Sheik.
Aye. We have no draft resolutions or ordinances, no other items of business. At this time, is there anybody that would like to address council? No city attorney's report. John?
Just very briefly, had a meeting today, building and zoning, and I met with the Housing Authority because they had some questions about the unit they're planning on building next to our park and things. We answered their questions. They're going to continue to work on it. Just to give you an update, they're probably looking at 4 or 5 years before they even start on that project. So we've got plenty of time, but they do have an issue they're going to have to work out with the Sand District. Otherwise, their building plans may change dramatically. There's a line, the sewer line running right through where they're going to put a building. So it's either move it or adjust the buildings or come up with another plan. I checked with Chris. The DOLA grant we got for the park over there, what they do doesn't have anything to do with it, so they can continue and do whatever they need to do. And I will keep you informed as that progresses.
4 or 5 years, they'll be here before we know it.
It'll be a race between us and the park and their building.
That's
so.
right, that's right. All right. City Council committee reports. Anybody been to a meeting? I know you have, Mike.
I have, yes.
Yeah.
Back in 2018, on December 18th, I attended a board meeting for the Cultural Center. See, they had different reports. The gift shop sales were up over last month. In the Colorado Give Days, the Cultural Center received over $6,000. The SWO's artist reception went really well, and the toy and candy giveaway on December 15th went well also. Trivia night on December 18th at the Wild Edge was the Cultural Center was featured, and they did very well in that. And the Birding Festival is coming up in May 8th to 12th, and that's really a successful operation in the town here. So that's it.
Anybody else? Historical Society, Makeda? All right.
Did Parks and Rec, I saw some in the paper, were they looking for a board member? Is that, they need 2?
Wow,
Okay.
2. Has there been any interest expressed? You have 1. Oh, good, good. Okay, good deal. All right.
Is it,
nobody-
I'm sorry, is it at large? The article in the paper didn't describe what was going on.
Well, it's, yeah.
Is it they're at large positions?
They will have
Both of
another
them?
add-in as well.
Okay.
Golf course also.
Rocky just started a new young professionals group in town. It might be a good place to reach out to. They had their first meeting right before Christmas time, that they're doing it through. It's the young professionals. They've had one periodically. It kind of gains steam and then dies out, but she just did a new push for a brand new young professionals group, so it might be a good resource for that.
Okay. At the workshop tonight, we had several items. We discussed the fence line boundary discrepancy plat correction. That there had been an agreement, what, in the 1980s, between a private party and the city, and apparently the paperwork wasn't quite as accurate as it should be, and so the individuals, the private party wants to get that ironed out because they want to change what they're doing with their property, and so we just had a heads up during workshop on that. City manager asked if council would be interested in a presentation from the Homes Fund. And then there was a presentation by Mark Drudge, who's the executive director for Cortez Retail Enhancement. He just gave us kind of a retrospective of what they've done, what CREA has done in collaboration with the city and Mesa Verde Country over the past year. And it's always kind of interesting to see. I think sometimes we forget some of the great things that happen, and it's nice to be reminded of that. And then we adjourned to executive session for a personnel issue. So is there anything else that anybody would like to bring up for the good of the city?
Thanks, good.
Well, we're getting out before 8, Orly.
All right.
Meeting adjourned.